So, back to Lumina. What did you how did you feel about the arms dealer to what is it?
Yeah.
The arms dealer to
Uh,
proving ground comparison of how I think Lumina would work and shine.
yeah, I agree. It's just I think it's because it's just that specific enemy with Cabal being what's funny
Cabal.
is the way that the Cabal work, like it's really like you're on the battlefield fighting a war against them. So a lot of the
Yeah.
times you have to take territory, like hold down positions to in order to push up and stuff.
Yeah.
Unlike with like Fallen or other enemy archetypes, they kind of just run at you and or they just like beam you from across the map. It's
Mm. I
Cabal,
wouldn't
you get
run
a
it in
mix
Fallen
of
Saber.
bow.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
run it in
I
Fallen
also
Saber.
wouldn't run it in Fallen Sabers solely because there's right hand cannons, yes, close range, god tier, which is fantastic. But
But Overload.
in Fallen Saber, you
But Overload and Barrier, why are we even talking about
yeah,
it?
all
Like,
a barrier. But the other part of it is like you just kind of get shit on
mm?
a lot in that strike because solar damage is increased, and most of the damage in that strike is solar damage.
Yeah. And like I think it shines in Cabal strikes and stuff where you have to have unstoppable. So I could see it working in Hive strikes. But I don't know. I don't think we have any Hive strikes in. Do we? This
No,
season? No.
no,
Um
there's no high strike.
so like it really shines in those because yes it is unstoppable, but I also think that it shines more in Cabal strikes because like you said, it is a war. You are pushing, you are holding territory, you are fighting for your life, and so are they. Like Lumina works when there's order, and I really like that because it's if you could stay on top of it, Lumina really opens up a lot of build and a lot of sustain for your team, and if you can use it well and utilize it, nobody's gonna die. 100%. Like if you can stay on top of it and keep at least 2 or 3 noble rounds, you're set. Like because you can get what is it, Benevolent Dawn off of noble rounds. So
Yep,
like
and with
if
Dawn
so like
Chorus,
if your
double
rift is
ashes to assets.
exactly. Well, I mean, I've been running single ashes to assets because
Yeah, because you don't
I
need both
want
of them.
yeah, I want one scav for heavy. Um but I mean, if you're feeling yourself, you can run two, but you don't need it. And then like say you're like 2 or 3 seconds away from your rift and like shit's going down, pop your buddy with a noble round, heals y'all up until your rift is back in 1 second because Benevolent Dawn. Like it really is the support weapon of Destiny 2, and if you can get really good with it, especially with the catalyst where you get 2 noble rounds per drop now. I just wish they upped the noble rounds capacity to 6, let's be real. But you're just you're just having so much of your abilities up all the time, and you can just heal so much more than anything else in the game because it's the only support weapon. But I think it's perfect because it's such a balanced support weapon.
Agreed.
Um, so
You want to put it in a B or B plus?
I was thinking mid B plus, like right in between
Yeah, that's
Devil's
fine.
Ruin and Darcy.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm with it.
Because I might if we run Arms Dealer today, I might run Lumina. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Hmm.
Malfeasance, below
Okay,
or
I got
above
this.
Skyburners?
And I got you. So here's a fun fact about Malfeasance. That is the worst exotic in the video game. Like, there's no if, ands, or buts about it. That shit is terrible. It is a waste of an exotic, especially with the game mode that you have to play to get it. It's a waste of your time. Like,
Don't forget, you
yes,
have to kill
it
the
is a
worst
hand.
boss in that game mode to get it.
Yes. So, yes, it gets unstoppable, and yes, it does increase damage to Taken and invaders. But who's invading your strike? I
enemy,
would like to
enemy
know.
invasion portal active, and just Oryx jumps through the portal. Good thing
That's
you
what I'm
got your
saying. Like,
malfeasance. Like
Malfeasance is a bit of an oversight. Like the concept for the gun is cool. However, its implementation is so bad that it doesn't even deserve to be on the tier list, but we're gonna put it on because we have to do our due diligence. It is
exactly.
the bottom of the pack.
Because it gets unstoppable. That's the only reason it's on this list, because it gets unstoppable. Now, yeah, that's it. That's it. Now, it does have some pretty ornaments, so I hate that it's terrible because I love the ornaments. Like the jade coin one with like the red string of fate or whatever it is. I'm like, oh, chef's kiss. But like the gun's god awful, so you never see those ornaments. Mida, Mr. Mida Main.
I say this. This is my plead the fifth. Crucible guns have no place in high level GM activities, so it goes automatically
Exactly.
to C tier.
And the funny part is Mida's main intrinsic thing is that it keeps its radar up, your radar up, but in 99 to 100% of GMs, your radar is disabled. So, like,
Yes, Chaft is always on in Grandmasters.
all right, you are Resident No Time Man, and I'll be Resident Outbreak Man.
Cool. So, no time, no time, no time. Man, first off, this gun's S tier,
Agreed,
right?
100%.
It,
The argument is where on S tier.
we're on S tier.
Mm,
I'm really torn between above Lemon Arc and below Cloud Stripe. Because hold on, before we go through this,
mm-hmm.
here's the information that you need to know about No Time for all of you no timers out there that don't have your No Time yet. First off, No Time is a high impact pulse rifle, so it does the most damage with the slowest rate of fire and the slowest reload speed. Fires full auto, so you can offset a lot of the downtime in between bursts between your pulse rifle shots. Great. No Time also offers infinite ammo. With every precision shot that you hit, it refunds the ammo right back into the magazine. Okay. Once you hit 10 shots of No Time, it creates a little buddy similar to an Arc Soul called the Personal Protective Portal, or the PPP for short. And headshots while the PPP is up extend its duration, and I'm pretty sure it still refunds ammo back into the magazine of No Time.
Yeah, no, it literally, PPP is passive. Like, you can get it and keep going and never lose a single bullet of ammo.
So, along with that, No Time also has a catalyst which increases the speed of which the PvP fires. Now, that might seem like a bloated kid, and you might ask myself or Monk, is that a bloated kid? And we would respond with, yes, very much so.
Yeah.
No Time is one of the few pulse rifles. I wouldn't even say the few. It's the only pulse rifle that transcends champ mods, honestly. Because even you can still run No Time and strikes that have overload champions because it has infinite ammo and it gives you constant pressure against other ads. As long as you're hitting headshots, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
It just doesn't stop. It really just doesn't stop. No, Monk will talk about this, but the difference, both No Time and Outbreak are S tier weapons. The difference, however, is No Time is a sustained fire weapon. So the longer you're shooting, the longer you're keeping pressure on the ads, the more benefit you get versus Outbreak, where it's you pop an ad, it creates a plume of Siva, chases down other ads, that creates plumes of Siva, and it just keeps bursting on itself.
Mm-hmm.
Two very different playstyles of guns,
Mm-hmm.
but they're both equally as strong. You use No Time specifically for well, not specifically because you can get away with it with most things, but No Time for Devil's Lair, where there's like a bunch of ads. There's constant, you can have constant pressure with the PvP up. The boss room, where you can just pop a shield with your void sniper rifle, then just dome a freaking servitor with No Time because you have infinite ammo, PvP shooting at him while the rest of your team focuses on ads.
Mm-hmm.
You have constant damage all the time with No Time. And No Time, similar to like how it is in PvP, is No Time is a momentum based gun. You can lose momentum, but the minute it starts picking up, No Time just takes over and it just keeps going. There's
Because
not really much that can stop you.
rewind again doesn't depreciate. It
Yep, it
stays.
doesn't depreciate. It stays and lets you swap to something else. The freaking PvP bullets also get high cal rounds
Well, does it
because they can't.
hold on. Rewind again stays if you stow it. It only
It's
cancels. It only cancels if you have PvP up. So you could have like
yes.
rewind again times 7 and then walk around a corner and have one burst on
Mhm.
another guy and get PvP up. Like
Yep. Rewind against those, the portal itself
mhm.
goes away when you swap. But again, that's just constant pressure, and the PvP
It's
keeps
not
the
even a
attributes
downside.
of Sunder.
Yeah.
I mean of No Time. Sunder and No Time. So I'm pretty sure like No Time has like high cal rounds or something dumb like that. But it maintains it has accurized round, but it doesn't matter because there's with the
It's stupid
catalyst of it
portals.
shooting faster, it says quote unquote that the bullets that you use to summon it are the bullets that it shoots, but it just shoots infinitely.
Like let's just be
It
real.
honestly just shoots infinitely,
Like if it
and
took
it's
it
just
out of
all the
your
time.
magazine pool if you were missing crits, that'd be cool. But it just doesn't. It is literally an Arc Soul with a gun. Like it's a motherfucking
It
Arc
is
Soul with a gun.
yeah. It's the superior version of Arc Soul, honestly, because of how fast it shoots and the fact that it does the fact that it does so much damage in PvP. Yes, obviously PvP is not PvE meta, but when you think about it, I'm pretty sure the if you
Best
all three
PvP.
shots of the PvP land, it is 11 damage per shot, which means it would do 33 damage on top of the 36 damage you're already doing from no time. So is that balanced? Probably not, because you essentially just oh, and the best part, the personal protective portal can shoot around corners for you.
Yeah.
You don't even have to full peek half the time.
Yeah.
It'll shoot stuff around the corner and dome it
Yeah.
for no reason other than it's literally on your side.
And with surrendering on in GMs, it does like 919 damage or something stupid like that. Like that is almost 1,000 damage a hit. Like,
Times
they,
three because it shoots three shots.
yeah, that's like almost that's 2,700 damage combined with the 1,300 or something roughly that you're gonna be doing. So
Hmm.
every other
While
burst you get a
yeah,
2,700 DPS increase. But here we are.
yeah. While it has unstoppable this season in a meta with anti-barrier pulse rifle, no time is arguably the best. It rivals Anarchy with how strong it is when it has anti-barrier. Because while the PvP cannot shoot through the barrier, you can shred it across the map and then have your PvP ready to just dome whatever's near you. So you can just focus on a target because it does that much damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that
The
gun's
question
broken.
becomes here
It is
or here or not there. Here.
honestly put it to the level of Monarch.
Yeah. It's just because Unstoppables, where it fits in with its mods, respectively, I think Layman Arc and No Time are equal at their jobs. Like, you run No Time if you need Unstoppable. You run Layman Arc if you need Overload. However, I think No Time beats it out because, like you said, you can use it when you don't even need a mod. Like,
Yep.
that's exactly.
It
Exactly.
transcends champion mods,
Exactly.
which is
Uh,
very hard to do.
very. Now, Outbreak Go Burr. My experience with Outbreak Go Burr is I love it very much, and I run it over No Time a lot um because I like it a lot more than No Time personally because I like the downtime of reloading. And it's weird because I like reloading because it helps me reset and reevaluate. And that's just a personal thing. And with No Time, I could get better with using that, and then I'd probably use No Time more. But like DJ said earlier, it is more burst than it is sustain. However, it is also good at sustain when you need it to be. but you have to commit fully to this being your DPS weapon, or else you're not going to get anything out of it. The damage of the nanites start to increase the damage of the gun because it's dealing more damage. So, essentially, what that means is it's a like burst sustain hybrid, and that's why I love it. It just doesn't have infinite ammo or a portal to help you get more damage across, and explosions.
Which honestly, it doesn't need it.
It
because
really doesn't. The nanites are just
Outbreak,
sentient, like,
yeah, Outbreak itself combos into other exotics that you want to use smoothly. Like there's a lot of times, like for example, Outbreak Chromatic Fire, which you won't usually be running in GMs, but you can run it. Outbreak Chromatic Fire, the Chromatic Fire explosion will leave things a lot of the time at 50% HP, and then the plume from the Outbreak nanites will eat the rest of the HP away. And because the catalyst, this is with catalyst, by the way, that should be a qualifying factor because I understand that catalyst is not available at the current moment, and a lot of people who just now are getting Outbreak might not will possibly don't have access to the catalyst, but once it becomes available, it you'll see because Outbreak on its own is an S tier weapon, and then the catalyst boosts it over the edge. So that's why it's like in the realm with No Time, because it's just constant damage all the time. Yes, it is burst, but when the nanites get going, it transforms it from burst into sustain because nanites spawn off nanites. They can nanites spawn off nanites. You can infect an enemy, kill something else, and then if that enemy dies, even if not from Outbreak, because it was infected with Outbreak, it will still spawn 3 or 4 nanites on itself. Outbreak is just constant burst all the time. Crowd control, constant. Freaking high damage when you get a bunch of Outbreaks together. Just constant, because Outbreak stacks on other Outbreaks.
And this was the meta for Crown of Sorrow. Literally week 1 and pretty much for a long time once this came out, this was the meta for Crown of Sorrow. You would literally sit in a well or behind a rally barricade and shoot Galaran right in the head over and over and over again with infinite ammo, and you'd start dealing like 5 to 7, like not even 5 to 7 because that's scaled down. Like I can't even remember what the damage numbers would look like, but they were chunky because that's when light scaling wasn't scaling or scaled down. It was like if an activity was say like 1100 and you were 1250, it felt like you were 1250. And that's just an example. I can't remember the exact light levels, and
it was 750.
750 to win.
Yeah, but here's the other thing, right?
Like,
Outbreak was so strong at one point that Outbreak was spawning nanites off of immune shields, and they had to nerf it to stop it from doing that.
Yeah.
That is how strong Outbreak was, and it's still up there. Even if you can't spawn nanites off of immune shields, being able to infect literally any enemy, kill them with any gun, and it still spawn nanites to infect other enemies to spawn more nanites is insane.
Yeah, like when you objectively look back and think about a lot of the weapons in Destiny, they are cracked out of their mind. And like Outbreak is no exception. So I think personally it goes right here.
I'm with it.
Because it doesn't have like it just doesn't have the continuous sustain. Like, you know what I mean? It has the burst sustain, but you need a little bit. It's like a diesel engine. You need a little bit to get it going, either. But then it's going to go for a long time.
Yeah, it's not a problem either. Like, just because on this tier list specifically, it would seem like Le Monarque is a better option than Outbreak. That isn't... The point of it isn't that one's better than the other. They are both S tier weapons in their own rights, respectively. However, you have to consider what each of them do. It's almost like in specific activities, if you equip this weapon, you essentially just win the game.
Yeah. So it's like Devil's Lair, Fallen Saber, Le Monarque is going to be where you're going to want to go. But it's like Arms Dealer, Inside Terminus, you're going to want to be looking at like in between No Time, Outbreak, and Hawkmoon. So
I
it's
would
like,
even say Warden of Nothing Outbreak also shines because there's
yeah,
so many ads all the time
yeah,
in that strike, and you need to burn Outbreak burst. You burn them down. Think of the
exactly.
Hydra encounter in after the trains. You get one precision kill in that wave of goblins that spawn there, and the rest of the goblins are pretty much dead.
Mhm. Like, I mean, it really isn't like we're saying these weapons are like anarchy. Yeah, anarchy is always going to be good, but pretty much anything else that's like mod dependent, it is used on the discretion of what the mods are that week. So essentially, it's just like we're not saying run Laminarch over Outbreak all the time. We're saying when Overload is a thing, you're definitely gonna want to run Laminarch and then Div and stuff like that. So, yeah. How do you feel about Polaris Lance?
I
Because,
personally have no intel about Polaris Lance because I don't use that gun.
my opinion, when Scout Rifle's on Overload, this gun's S tier. When Scout Rifle's on Barrier, this gun's like B tier. Like B tier, B plus. Because it falls into the same problem that Dead Man's Tale does. However, it is infinite ammo, which is why it makes it great on overloads, because the perfect fifth is constant tick damage, so they won't regen, and you have infinite ammo to just keep popping them in the skull, so you're never going to have to reload. Like, this scout rifle is so mod dependent, because this season it is super bad. But next season, if scouts get overload, which they might, and I hope, uh, I'm gonna be running this a lot more because it's infinite ammo and it's constant tick damage. And that's the bar for me. Like, I think I would put it beneath Huckleberry, just based off of principle of what it can be and still how good it is because of the infinite ammo and explosions.
I'm totally fine with that.
And Risk Runner.
Wrist Runner is at least A tier
Mm-hmm.
because what Wrist Runner has over the other exotic SMGs is that chain lightning is broken. The
Yeah,
chaining of the lightning is broken, and
yeah,
it can, as long as an overload champion is in the range of it being chained to, doesn't matter what range it's at. It chains the lightning and it maintains the damage.
exactly.
So
I
Wrist Runner
I think
is
it'd be
nice.
right here in between Ace and Borealis, which is why I switched Borealis over, because I was like, I this is its home, in my opinion. Is it's Yeah, it's like SMGs on Overload are kind of like yikes, but Risk Runner like kind of just
Is
says
Wrist Runner
Lamau.
is the
Like,
exception, not the rule.
exactly. But yeah, I think it fits right there perfectly. Devil's Lair, it's gonna be great. Fallen Saber, it's gonna be great. Anything where you're like, man, this feels like it has a lot of arc. You're gonna bring Risk Runner. Like, if you just want a fun gun, even in GMs, it's insane. But if you just want to melt through 1270s, you can just chuck on Risk Runner. You're gonna have most kills in the lobby. Let me tell you. Sturm.
Uh, Sturm for me is either an A tier or like high B plus tier, and
Mm,
the only reason is because it's a 120, and
yeah,
120 hand cannons are broken to say the least.
yeah.
And Sturm has the benefit that any kill you get with it, even across the map, reloads your energy.
Mm,
So you that's like one of the things when it comes to managing when it comes to managing ammo, especially for high level activities. Being able to not worry about your secondary and have it always be loaded because you have a gun that loads them. Like Sturm is the original sympathetic arsenal, but because it's intrinsic and it does a lot more damage, it's better, and it doesn't feel like you have a wasted perk with Sturm equipped.
and it has cracked out of its mind range. Like,
Yes,
God,
cause
Sturm.
I have Dim open right now, so I can tell you. Sturm is currently with the Catalyst. It is currently at 91 range, 73 handling,
Sheesh.
which is a lot to say the least. And
I
I'm pretty sure. Hold on. Is
Yeah.
it that energy weapons reload Sturm? as well, or
No,
am I crazy?
Drang is the only one that
Trank is the
reloads
only
Sturm.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh because I would love to have it so like any energy weapon does, but at a lesser value. Like I just wish it
Mm-hmm.
reloaded and didn't overcharge. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
because Drang you can put double the shots in and make them juiced, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I just wish it reloaded it. If I domed something with a sniper, I think that would make it great and way better into way more classes and way more loadouts. Like because I just feel like I just get jumped 30 feet in the air and then three tap by Sturm by anyway by hunters.
I think Sturm should, now this might be cat, but I think Sturm should get anti-barrier.
I'd be down. Actually, I'd be down. Like I think it goes like right here or right here because
Yeah.
I haven't done enough with
Uh
Ariana's. I haven't done my due diligence
yeah,
for that.
I put it in front of Ariana's.
Okay. Sunshot.
I have no information
It's
about
just gotta
Sunshot.
hear.
I don't.
I just think it's like I don't think it's. I think it's like I think it's B plus. Like it's not bad. It's not good. Or whichever
Okay,
one that is. Like,
that's
I,
totally fine.
like it's just the solar hand cannon that gets unstoppable. And yeah, it does explosions, but I mean, for being real, I don't think I'm gonna be getting that many explosions. Nor do I think it's gonna impact the overall strike that much. When I do get the explosions. Symmetry, I think is solid B tier because it's just garbage. Like the whole
Like if we're
aspect
talking
of
about
that
like
gun is
garbage,
just
garbage,
like
it
it's just terrible.
I would put it in C tier at that point if we're talking like true trash
Like,
because hold on, I got this one. So Symmetry, for those of you who do not know and are unfamiliar with Symmetry, Symmetry is a scout rifle that can fire full auto. Its intrinsic perk allows it to the more headshots you get, up to 15, determine how strong the full auto tracking beams are. Because when you hold R, it switches it to revolution mode, and then depending on how many stacks of revolution you have, determine the damage. And like I think it also determines the duration
mm,
of it, but with the catalyst, it goes from 15 to 20. But this
it's
gun is just, I'm
it's
pretty sure it's full. Is it full auto or is it?
yeah, no, it's full auto. It is it is redirection before redirection was the thing, and redirection's
Mhm.
just better. Like on a base perk, redirection, as you're hitting rank and file enemies, so anything red bar, it increases your damage the next time you hit a yellow bar, and that is just passive. While symmetry, you'd actually have to change modes. It suffers from like the same thing Borealis did, where you have to physically like change modes. That is a longer animation than a lot of other things that can just do like better. Like if it got a quicker animation change, like you just flip a switch and the lights cut on, maybe I might use it again. But
I don't even think that would save it because
I don't think it would save it, but I think it would help it a little bit. Like,
it's just really, it's one of those guns similar to like Malfeasance, where the concept is cool, it's just bad execution.
yeah,
And that's like the main thing that it suffers from. It's like they're back in Season of the Dawn when it first came out, week one, everyone was going crazy because it had like target seeking bullets, which was insane. But then like once people like started weren't under pressure by Symmetry anymore, they kind of were just like, all right, we can just ignore it
yeah,
and just
and
walk
literally
away from
just
it.
yeah, like walk around a shrub and you're good. The ornament's sick though. The ornament makes it look sick. 'Cause that's about the
But
only
that's not
redeeming
enough
factor.
to
Uh,
yeah. Ornaments aren't enough to save your gun.
exactly, and Tarball falls into that same category. I think Tarba is a catalyst away from being good. Uh, but it doesn't have one, so it's still a catalyst away from being good. The
Yeah,
main problem
which is a
is,
problem
yeah,
because most raid weapons are most likely not going to get catalysts because there are no master versions of the raid yet.
yeah,
Yet. asterisk. But we still don't know if those master raids will actually drop raid catalyst.
Yeah. So if it gets a catalyst, I would love it to juice Ravenous Beast just a little bit and make it charge at a diminished or at a decreased rate passively when it's stowed, because this gun suffers from the from you have to have it out all the time for it to be good. Like, as you take damage and as you deal damage, Ravenous Beast charges up, and when the gauge is full, you can reload again, and it basically just makes the gun like spit out ammo at a ridiculous rate. Now, that may sound poggers, that may sound great, and it is in low level activities, but like Ravenous Beast, I just think it should stack like no time. Like, I think you should be able to have it in your back pocket, and if you have it ready and stow it, like the next time you whip it out or the next time you reload, it automatically goes into Ravenous Beast. Because I think that instead of, because if you just reload it regularly, it won't activate Ravenous Beast. You have to do a long reload press. And if you just, once the bar's full, if you just naturally got it and it was more of a passive, like, rampage, one for all kind of perk, you know what I mean? It would be way better, but it's literally a catalyst away from being great. But I think that makes it I think that makes it in C tier opposed to like A tier where Risk Runner is, in my complete opinion, because I have used this gun, I have tried this gun because this was my first raid exotic, so it is very dear to my heart. However, I have not been able to make it work in any loadout since it came out. Because
Yeah.
you can't use any other gun while you have it, because you finish off Ravenous Beast, right? And then you still gotta kill shit, and you're like, oh, this is a cool time for my grenade launcher or machine gun. And you're like, well, I'm already 3/4 of the way to Ravenous Beast, so I might as well keep using this. And it's just that endless cycle, and yeah, that's kind of its whole shtick, but I mean, it's like, you just need to, it needs help, because it doesn't have help, and a bunch of these already have catalysts. So I think it goes like right there personally, because even though it hurts me, it is garbage. Thorn.
As a Thorn user in high level activities, I like the way that Thorn is now.
Mm-hmm.
Thorn suffers from the same thing Lumina does, where when you want to go pick up souls, you can't really do that in high level activities.
Mm-mm.
However, because Thorn is Thorn, the burn damage kind of offsets that. Like, you don't need to pick it up. Just having the passive burn damage on anything is great. And it's still a hand cannon. It's still Thorn, so it absolutely shreds to pretty much anything that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just a good baseline. It's honestly just a good baseline. Doesn't do anything too crazy. If you get the boost, great. If not, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's Thorn.
I'd put it above Lumina though.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah. All right, Trinity Ghoul.
So you're just not gonna acknowledge Tiku?
Nope.
We should at least acknowledge Tiku.
No, dude.
Yeah,
No. I have put in the time. I have put in the effort. I will record a fucking video and put it up there with the most efficient TQ's build that I could come up with, and it is still garbage. I put on Wrath of Rasputins, so solar splash damage would spawn Warmind cells, so I was getting Warmind cells left and right. I had the mod on, I can't remember what it's called, but it applies a suppression effect when you damage a Warmind cell.
Damn, what is that damn thing? No, but I get you.
And then I had Rasputin's power, so I'd be dealing more damage, and you still can't get enough out of it. Like, I've done Master Lost sectors with this, and I can't beat the Master Lost sector because this doesn't do burn damage. The Overload champions regen too much because you're having to constantly go hip fire, aim, and it doesn't have, like, an increase, or, like, it doesn't have Archer's tempo to reduce your draw time. You are stuck at the same draw time for everything, and you can't get damage out fast enough. And I've literally run out of ammo trying to kill Overload captains, like, not messing up my rotation, because it's just a garbage bow. And if it did burn damage off of Sacred Flames, it would be a little bit better. Like, it might be in B tier, but since it literally does no damage other than the explosion and the hits from the Seeking arrows, it does not fit anywhere. God, this bow makes me mad. And yes, it can deal massive damage. And I'm probably going to have to try it on Taniks to see if it's actually massive damage. However, those circumstances are very niche, and it doesn't warrant running it in any other activity if you're like, man, I can only run this against Taniks. Like, they try to make the Hawk Moon of bows, and it's just garbage. Like, that's all you gotta say. Like, I've tried. I gave it a week of my time, and it's still just not good. It's been a whole idea.
And just like that, I got him to talk about Tikus.
Like, it's the Skyburners effect. You know what? No, like, worst gun in the fucking game. Anyway, Trinity Ghoul, I think it falls into the same category as Risk Runner. I don't think it's as good as Layman Arc, though.
No, 100%. Trinity Ghoul is another one of those, is an exception, not the rule. The only thing that Trinity Ghoul suffers from is that Trinity Ghoul is good for ad clear. It is good for some yellow bars, depending on the type of enemy, but mostly red bars. You get one kill, and you just go brr, 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 away, and you just zap everything. That's what Trinity Ghoul is made for. It doesn't make it bad, doesn't make it extremely good. It is a good, solid, balanced bow, and the only reason it is balanced is because the catalyst makes it so any arc kill, including your arc ability kills, gives it lightning rod, which it desperately needed because only getting headshots to proc it was a bit much because it wasn't consistent because the arrow split in threes versus the way that Trinity Ghoul is now. You can just literally shoot it on the ground and clear out an entire ad wave for doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And it procs lightning rod on itself for doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic.
I'd put it in A tier.
Yeah. Like, I'd put it right there. Actually, I'd put it right here because Risk Runner, you can just get passively proc. This, you have to actively proc. Vigilwing, I feel like it falls into the Grav Lance category. Like, it's cool and all, but it's just not it, Chief. Like,
while it transcends, like, while Vigilwing's perks, yes, transcend PvP metas and can be viable in PvE activities. If you're like dying over and over again, and if your team is dying over and over again, and you're trying to abuse the fact that Harsh Truths gives you regen, which is not like, it doesn't start your regen, it just gives you a little bump of health. In a lot of those situations, you just die, especially with Vigilwing not doing a whole lot of damage, and any enemy walking out of its effective range can instantly drop its damage. Yeah, it's full auto, but it just straight up doesn't matter because the gun itself, while I wouldn't even say it's good. It's really power creep out of the meta because everything hits super duper hard. And Vigilwing just doesn't do enough. I'm going to stick with it is a crucible gun and it has no place in the GM meta.
Yeah. Wishender. I think it's in B. If it still did the cracked over pierce like 19 times shit, yeah.
Where we get stuck inside of the enemy,
yeah.
Bro, that was an experience in Gambit.
That was
a Gambit
I think that
experience.
should be in like PvE other than Gambit in PvP. Like, that was such a good perk. Like, can you imagine?
That was such a good bug.
Like that was like,
it's called a spade. That shit was a bug. Yeah, that was broken.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bug, but I like to think that it would be a potential PvE buff one day because I like to shit on things with shields with this. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It just ruins things with shield stays. So I'd check it in B, like right about here.
That's totally fine. I'm with it.
And then Xeno, I'd check an A+. Like, I think Xeno's a little bit better than 1K, but I don't think it's, like, better than using levies.
I don't know.
Like,
I think
I just think
so.
Xeno's just DPS dump, but it's a lot more efficient and has way
But
more ammo.
that's why I was gonna put it in S tier. It's like Xeno and Anarchy are the two best heavies in the game, honestly.
See, my thing
In
is
all
it's,
situations.
my thing is it's just personally and in my experience, I would rather run any of these than Xeno because like rocket launches are so good and royal entry is so good that I'd rather run that in my heavy than Xeno when I can run Anarchy or something like that. Like personally, I just think that if I'm gonna put an exotic on, it needs to feel like heavy hitting. And I'm not saying that Xeno doesn't. I feel like Xeno's too clunky. Like Royal Entry, you can just whip it out, track to the target you want, shoot it, it'll track to it, reload, and by the time you're reloaded, you can shoot another rocket with lasting impression, and the rocket with lasting impression will hit as the other one's exploding. So it's like, yeah, that's like a little bit more of a rotation for Xeno, but it's a quick rotation, and like my Royal Entry does like
It's
89k.
quick if it has amplifier.
Exactly, and like
That's what makes the difference.
exactly, and it's like my
For
Royal Entry has like does like 89k or some shit. And in GMs, that's not bad at all. I just don't know how good Xeno does because I'd always run Outbreak or Cloud Strike or
you
Leviathan
know
Breath.
it's so the thing about Xeno is right. Yes, it might seem like clunkier in a rotation, but Xeno, remember you gotta remember it's full auto.
Yeah,
It got a 30% damage buff.
yeah.
It has no range drop off, which obviously rockets ignore that rule, but for most other weapons, it that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And it has the ability to spawn Warmind cells on top of all of that because it does splash damage and it can beam stuff around the corner. So Xeno, I'm still putting it in S tier solely because the damage output for it is so high that most of the problems for Xeno, like the reload, the like trying to figure out what target you want to hit, and like swapping and stuff just doesn't matter for me personally
Yeah.
because of how hard Xeno actually hits.
I'd put it like right here.
Yeah, you could put it right there because remember, Xeno, two Xenos in a div basically shred through whatever, literally anything you want. Like, and of course you can do that with Anarchy, but Anarchy bullets bounce off div shields.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why you gotta get Div on first. So, that is the final season of the Chosen exotic mod list. Uh, at the beginning of next season, Season of the Redacted, we will probably make an initial tier list based off the exotics that receive mods and speculate on where we're going to equip our loadouts. But we will see. We have about 14 days left until the new season in the End of Guardian games. So y'all be on the lookout for that as we go into the new season. But DJ, do you have anything to add?
Uh, Not really. So actually, no, I do. No, scratch that. What do you think? Again, the tier lists themselves, a lot of the time, it's not the tier list is not about like what's the best thing to run. Yes, obviously there are a lot of things that you should run because of like where they stand
Mm-hmm.
currently in the meta.
Mm-hmm.
However, you should take most tier lists like with a grain of salt and like you pick out what things you think you'd have fun with and like really build around it. Like for
Like,
example, if you never experienced like, bad juju in a high level activity, you can just like purchase it, get the catalyst, finish it up, and kind of like use it and see how it uh, how it like actually works. Between the two of us, we have 5K hours in this game, and we've like done a lot of work for this game, so we can tell you like where it fits in builds, where it fits in certain metas. But that isn't just because we can be deemed as experts. You should also experiment and see what it is that you like about the different guns.
And
Because what might be A or a B tier for us might in your hands might feel like an S tier.
exactly. Like, for example, the perfect way I would put this, if you are just finishing up this video and about to load into some Grandmasters with your mates, think of this as a vending machine of exotics, right? The S tier is your top shelf, and all of that goes down. You pick whatever button you want, and this will come out. Like, no matter what you pick, it's all your own personal flavor. So it's like, if like Cheetos are somewhere in A tier for you, and you fuck with Cheetos high key, you got it. But this is just where we would rank them and where to start looking. Like, if you're like, man, I just don't know what to run, and we're feeling stuck in this GM, like Proving Grounds GMs, if you're feeling stuck and you just need a refresher on what you should run, I'd come to this, honestly. And a lot of
Hmm.
stuff that is on here is just where it should be. But yeah, that's how I would look at it. It's just a tier list vending machine. But I want to thank you again, DJ, for helping me out with this. DJ's Twitter and YouTube channel will be in the description below, so y'all can go check him out. But
Wait, I
yeah,
have one of those.
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Don't act like you don't. Uh, don't act like you don't. But yeah, I have nothing else to say. DJ, you got anything else to say?
No.
All right. Y'all have a good one, and don't forget complete your gunsmith bounties because they give you e-course.